The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the opinions of the staff or management of Visionary-related entertainment.
Aloha and welcome to Maui Nonprofit Notes. Now in our 10th year of broadcasting each week, we continue talking story with Maui's nonprofit executive directors and their staff to find out how they're working to support those with needs within our community. Maui Nonprofit Notes is generously sponsored by Pacific Source. If you're building or remodeling a home, please stop by Pacific Source's cabinet and appliance showroom located in the Waikapu Bayshard. I'm Susie Tiemann, Executive Director of Lokahi Pacific, and your host for Maui Nonprofit Notes. During this hour, we share some of the experiences of our nonprofit agencies, just how they're changing lives, changing communities, and creating miracles of hope for those with needs. Today, we're going to start off the program talking with Dean Wong, who's the Executive Director of Imua Family Services. Hey, Dean.
Hi, aloha.
Hey, it's been a while.
Thank you. Glad to be here. It has been a while.
It has, but you schedule all your events kind of in a 4 or 5 month period. And so we see you a few times during that, and then we don't hear from you. You're busy working.
I know. It's crazy how it works out that way, but it just so happens that in the spring, it's Down Syndrome Awareness Month happens in March, and Autism Awareness Month happens in April, and the week of the young child is celebrated also during April. And these are all things that coincide very much with the work that we do at Imua Family Services, and so it just makes sense in many ways that our events coincide with some of these days that are meant to bring awareness for these children with very special needs. And so a lot of our events come up around this time. And then it also leads up towards Camp Imua, which happens in the summertime. So yes, this is the time of the year where we feel like we inundate everyone in the world with everything that is going on at Imua Family Services. But we are going on year-round, so yes.
Yeah, the rest of the year is just work.
It's work, it's services, it's planning and organizing, and of course, the services that we do for children on the island in our community and our therapists are doing, that goes on 365 days of the year, regardless of what our events are, what our fundraisers are, our special events. That's just always ongoing, and even our special events or fundraisers don't interrupt the services that we're providing to families.
Right. You're fortunate in your planning that you have scheduled things so that you don't have to call on that staff.
Correct.
To help with the extra services in those times.
Yeah, and really, the truth is we can't. Their caseloads are very high, and there are a lot of children who are in need of the services that we have, and it would, it wouldn't be beneficial to them if we had to somehow interrupt that service. We just don't rely on that critical portion of our staff to be able to do the events, the outreach, the education, or the awareness building that we do for our organization.
Right. Is your wait list growing?
Sadly, yes. And it's complicated, but really, we rely on very specifically qualified individuals with a pediatric background to do the services that we provide to children in our community. So we need physical therapists, occupational therapists, speech pathologists, the list goes on of the kinds of therapists that we require. And of course, we need them to have a background in early childhood development services, pediatrics. And unfortunately, our colleges and universities here in Hawaii don't produce those skill sets and those degrees. So we have to recruit from abroad and the mainland for people that will come to Hawaii and come to Maui and commit to doing this kind of work for our little nonprofit here in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. And that's complicated, and it takes a lot of work to do that. So we're always in that process of recruiting and hiring and training new staff to do this work. But we're so fortunate to have the people that we have had come and do the services. Our staff is always fluctuates around 50 people. And so it's quite a large group of committed people doing that work. But so there is a wait list, and it's always just because the more staff we could have, the more children we would give services to on a regular basis. Yeah.
Right. So now, how are children brought to your schools and your classes? What do the parents need to do or go through to get their children
You
in?
know, there's multiple ways that children come to EMUA Family Services. Oftentimes, it's a referral from a pediatrician. Children are going for regular healthy well baby visits and their pediatric appointments. And when you do that, doctors will check to see how a child is doing at reaching their milestones. And though answering those questions correctly, when a parent participates in recognizing if a child is in fact meeting their milestones, is a huge indicator on whether their child is developing on schedule and according to what we can expect children and how they develop typically. Other times, if a pediatrician doesn't catch it or a parent doesn't catch it, then the referral might come from a child care director or a preschool teacher. Sometimes it's an auntie or a tutu that maybe recognizes something more than the parent recognized, So these are how referrals come to us. There's a number of ways. And the family just has to make contact with us at EMUA Family Services. And we ask them a few questions and set up an appointment for them to meet with one of our care coordinators, the people that will help them navigate through our organization and the services their child needs. There's several evaluations that happen. Sometimes that whole process happens, and the best news that the parent hears is, you know what, your child is doing great. Don't worry. This is a typical thing that you're experiencing. Or sometimes it's just about making some adjustments in the home or the way that child is being talked to or encouraged to move or not move or things like that. So they're very simple things they can do that help get child back on track.
Is there such a thing as an average child?
In my opinion, not really. I mean, they're all just so special and so unique, and we all have such differing abilities. That being said, there are very specific milestones that happen in a child's brain development, and very expected things can be seen at very specific times. And when those things don't happen, it really is a red flag. It doesn't mean that the child may just be delayed in their speech and they'll catch up eventually. Sometimes it's a red flag to something way more serious. And so it's very important that parents check in and find out exactly what might be happening there. So in that sense, is there an average child? No. I don't think any of us are average, and we're all very special. But there are things that we can expect to do in very specific timing. I think it's important that people realize that a child's brain development, a person's brain development, happens, 90% of it happens before a child is 6 years old. So the more you can recognize where a child is developing early on, the more critical the intervention can be, and the longer term the impact will be when you get that intervention for a child early on in life.
Like everything.
Like everything, yeah.
Early detection.
Early detection, yeah. That's the best way, for sure.
But I tend to think that perhaps there's a lot of parents out there who would just kind of say, oh, well, it's just a thing. Tomorrow we'll wake up and they'll be on track.
Yeah, and, unfortunately, not to stigmatize or stereotype any particular group, but men, more often than the dads, tend to do that. They'll say, I was a late talker. It's okay. He'll catch up eventually, right? Or he just needs to man up. Those kinds of things they'll say about their children, and that's not really accurate or true, right? And sometimes that can be more harmful. It may be true that the dad was a late talker or something like that, but it doesn't mean that has to be the case for their children. And, it's not about getting all children to be the same. It's certainly not about any norm that you're trying to get children to reach. It's really about having every child reach their full potential, whatever that is.
Right.
And so we as parents, we want the best for our children. We really do. I think that's just inherent. We want them to be happy. We want them to feel loved and secure. And, we don't want them to grow up and be bullied and picked on and to fall behind and to experience self-doubt and all of those things, low self-esteem. And those things, when children start to fall behind, those delays that can happen, those are the things that will play a part of that in their future. So it's just best to check in and see how your child is doing, ask questions, ask your pediatrician, is this typical development? Is this where they should be? And sometimes parents will also see regression, which is can be alarming for parents, right? So they have an 18-month-old child that seems to be progressing, walking, talking, making verbal sounds and eye contact, and then sometimes that will start to regress and they'll see a backwards motion, and that's definitely a sign that a parent needs to make contact with Emu Family Services and see what really is going on there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I also think it's important to note that we'd like to think it is the case, but not all parents are on the same page all the time, right?
Right.
And that's just a fact of life. Even, in my own home, it happens a lot. I said he could have the root beer. You said he could have the root beer. What are you talking about? That's just really simple. But, so sometimes one parent recognizes something and is concerned about it, and another parent wants to not even notice it or pay attention to it because they're worried. They're scared of what that could be.
Right.
I know it's difficult, but that's what our staff do. Our social worker staff, our care coordinators, they help parents realize this doesn't have to be scary. We're only there to help, and you don't even have to. We'll come right to your home. We'll do the work in your home if that's the best thing for you and for your family and for your child. And quite honestly, a lot of the work that we do centers around parent coaching for the youngest children. Because, the parents are with the child all of the time. We could come in for an hour a week and do what we can do. But quite honestly, the best thing that we can do is to give the parents the tool set that they need to help their children so they can do that work daily with them.
Right.
And that's where they'll start to see the real progress and differences made. But children don't come with an instruction manual, right? So,
Right.
And every child is different, really. So it's best to have some really qualified professionals come in and help you with all of this.
Very good.
No
Wow.
shame in that.
Yeah, no, that's great to know, because again, we talk about the parents trying to deny that there's something wrong with their child, and like in so many other cases, it's best to find out.
Yeah.
Is there a problem? If not, great. If
Right.
there is, work on it early.
Yeah, we do it with ourselves too, right?
Right.
I don't know. There's things you'll feel something, an ache or a pain or a cramp that you've never felt before, and the tendency is just to want to ignore it. Like, if I just ignore this, it'll go away. It's nothing, and I need to move forward and keep going. And sometimes these are symptoms that we have to pay attention to because they tell us that something else is going on, right? But for our children, we want to do this early. We want to help them as best as we can and as early as possible. And just get them going on the right track so they can succeed.
Right. Well, and part of the way that you do this and can afford to do this are your fundraising events. And I know that we talked about before the show, we were talking about your fundraiser the other night, which is your big annual event.
Yeah, I think, nonprofits here on Maui, we rely on a large variety and diversified kinds of funding streams, right? So your budget isn't created by usually one source of revenue, and if it is, that's kind of risky, because if that one source ever goes away, right, then you're in trouble. So we, like every other nonprofit, try to diversify our revenues in terms of how they come in and support the work that we do. There is a lot of work that we do at our organization that is not funded through any other means than solely our own fundraising abilities. And so when we're constantly trying to grow our programs and meet more children's needs, then also our demand for increased funding continues to grow every year as well. So but even within our fundraising efforts, we have diversification, right? So yes, we just this past weekend had our annual gala, which is one kind of a fundraiser that we do and pulls together a large number of businesses and individuals that support our organization. And so we were really pleased that it was as successful as it is. In fact, there's a recap in the Maui News today and online. So yeah, really great event.
And they're always so lavish. I mean, it's an extravaganza.
It is, well, I'm kind of known for throwing a 3-ring circus from time to time. What can I say? I love a good show, and I also, I think the first 3 letters in fundraising are fun. And so it's important to me that when people are going to support an organization, that they're doing it out of joy. They're doing it out of joy and the joy that it brings them,
Right.
That's how I want people to think of our organization, because it is very joyous experience to help children.
Right.
Children are, the smiles that they have and the smiles that we create in their lives is really what it's about. So yes, I want people to have a really good time.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, and you've got another one coming up here shortly that is totally different. And speaking of coming up shortly, I think we just shortly came into commercial time.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in Central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And we're back. This is Maui Nonprofit Notes, the weekly radio show where we talk story with our nonprofit executive directors to find out what's going on in their world. And today we've started the show talking with Dean Wong, who's the executive director of Emua Family Services. And if you missed the first 20 minutes of the show, you missed a lot.
Is that 20 minutes already?
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
But we're talking about the children that they work with. And I mean, I'm always just intrigued with how they help and how they diagnose the issues that children are having.
Yeah, and it's not. I want people to know, it's not scary. We don't have, scary treatment rooms with like big light things that come down and look into children's eyes and stuff. I think it was Einstein said that the greatest form of research is play. And that's exactly how we do all the therapy that we do with children, whether it's speech therapy, occupational therapy, physical therapy, family training, general education or special instruction. It's all done through the act of play. And even if it's coaching parents, we're teaching those parents how to play and interact with their children, because children learn through play. And it sounds simple, but there actually is technique and an expertise behind it. But it's not something that's scary for children. Most children actually don't want to leave our facility when they come, unlike a dentist office.
Right.
No offense to dentists out there, but I'm just saying, children come to our organization or our center or our therapist to their home, and they have a really good time. Yeah.
And as a result of that good time, you get to do good work with them and,
yes.
and help them along their way.
Yes.
We started talking about your fundraisers, which help you support all of these activities. And you've got one coming up here, in a couple of weeks?
Well, actually, less than a couple of weeks.
Oh.
It's coming up on Saturday, April the 13th. But I have to tell you something. This is not a fundraiser.
That's true.
It's a
not, you're right.
fundraiser.
It's a fundraiser.
It's a fundraiser, and it's a friend raiser, but it's not really a fundraiser.
True.
This was an event that we started to help promote something that we, as an organization, believe very strongly in, and that's inclusion. We have an inclusion preschool. The incentive behind most of the work that we do is about inclusion. Camp Emu is about inclusion. Dream Emu is about inclusion. And that is inclusion, to just sum it up very simply, is that we're all together here in our community, and that there's a place for everyone. Together we're united, we're stronger together, we build together. And, it's one thing for us as an organization to do work with children and so that they can reach their full potential, but it wouldn't be us really taking a holistic approach at our community if we didn't also create an environment where those children have a safe place to land, And so we recognize that we are all children of a rainbow. We're all different. We're all unique. We're all different in our abilities, our likes and our dislikes, but we live here together in this beautiful island community. And so this Color Festival, which is intrinsically just a music festival at the very core of it, but it's about within within this family-friendly music festival, there's lots of throwing of colors, which makes us all part of this beautiful spectrum and rainbow. And the underlying message behind that is this beautiful diversity, this beautiful color that creates this. And then the music is sort of what brings everybody together. It's so harmonious, and people are having fun and enjoying themselves. And it's just an epic and wonderful event. Yeah. So it's coming up, on Saturday, April the 13th at the Maui Arts and Cultural Center. And it's a daytime activity from 1 till 6 o'clock. So families can come and bring their children, and children under 5 are free. So that's fantastic. And then there's a youth price up to the age of 16, and then the adult price. And we've kept it very low. The top price you pay to come in is $20. And you're hearing some great live bands, and including Raylan Baxter, who's coming all the way from Nashville. He's our headlining band. He was on Last Call with Carson Daly just last night, and so we watched him on that. And he's on the festival circuit right now. He's playing festivals all over the world, and so we're really happy to have him come to Maui and introduce him to Maui community.
See, there again, you get all this top entertainment. I mean, you got to be on the A-list here for things to come this way.
Well, I'm always digging. Yeah, but Raylan's our headliner, but we also have Anuhea, who we all know as local and love her so much. So she's in the lineup, and Yum Yum Beast is also local. And then there's some mixed cultural things that we'll throw in as well. Te Tiara Patitifa, the Tahitian dance group, will do a couple of performances, as well as Maui Taiko. Food trucks and cotton candy and popcorn and shave ice and pizza and Maui Fresh Streetery, like lots of food, lots of activities, lots of things to do. But really, again, I said at the heart of it, it's a music festival. And color festivals are events that happen around the world. Paris, London, New Zealand, Utah, New York, San Francisco, Canada, everyone has a color festival. They're destination events. People travel to them from around the world, and some of them go on for days. Some of them just hours, like ours. But our goal is that over the years, we will grow this event into a multiple-day event and make Maui one of the new destination spots for great music festivals.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, the actual color that's involved in this, everyone has a part in it.
Yeah, you get color packages of every color you can think of. They're very beautiful and vibrant. I mean, at the very base of them, they're just basically colored cornstarch. They're non-toxic and, not harmful in any way to the environment or to people, obviously. And, I shouldn't say obviously, but it would be hard to throw a color festival anywhere in the world if it was, harmful. So it is a very safe product, and you go in one color and you come out another color. It's where can you do that, right? It's like the star-bellied Grinches or so it's Snitches or whatever it was. It's really a ton of fun. I mean, if you haven't seen one, just Google Color Festival or look on our website at emuafamilyservices.org and look at the Color Festival, because they are insane fun. I mean, last year we had about 1,500 people come to the event, and this year we hope to double that for sure. And you just get to go up to complete strangers and throw color at them, and and it's so much fun, and it's very liberating somehow to be able to do that, and children have the best time. They just literally run amok. We have some little advice that we give you if you get your tickets through the Mac box office. We have a little advice sheet, like it's good to bring maybe some swimming goggles for kids if you're worried about color getting in their eyes. We started that with my 7-year-old son last year, but he took the goggles off right away, and that was it, And bring a garbage bag to throw your clothes in before you get back in your car after. And we sell Color Festival T-shirts at the event, which are white, because the goal is to get completely immersed in every color, and then you go home and you soak your shirt in vinegar, and so that it stains it. And then you have a really great keepsake of the event. Cool. So, and we noticed that when the guests came last year, everybody came wearing white.
Good.
They wore white in, and then they left, looking like Skittles threw up. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Ouch.
It's the best thing.
Okay.
I mean, it's right up there with water fights, food fights, and mud wrestling, as far as I'm like. It's messy, good fun, which is what you want children to have, right? Like, children need to get messy, and we need to have fun, and parents need to play with their kids, and it's just awesome. And at the very heart of it, parents get to listen to some outstanding music. And it's a lot of fun.
Now, the color's not thrown at one time. It's throughout the festival.
Right. So people will throw color all through the event as it's going on, and that's a huge amount of fun. But then there is a big throwing of the colors that happens usually at the last hour. So this event goes till 6 o'clock, so around 5 o'clock. We'll get everybody together, and there'll be a big countdown. Raylan Baxter will be on stage. We'll 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 with this huge outburst of color that will just hit the air. And it's epic to see because as the color hits the air, it spreads, right? And it goes into, and so then, the whole sky just becomes this amazing rainbow. It's like literally you've been trapped inside a rainbow, and it's really exciting. And it's just the most fun ever. I mean, I think that last year when we did the event, people just didn't really have an idea of what to expect, and they just could not get enough of it. Like it was just amazing. So we know it will be epic again this year. It'll be great fun.
Right. Well, good luck to you on that. Now, our tickets are still available?
Yes, they're available right till day of, although I will tell people that the tickets go up by $5 on the day of at the event. So, just save yourself that $5 and get your tickets prior to the event. And if you ever want to know why people do that, it's really to help the food vendors. The more if you're going to go anyway, the more tickets you can get in advance, it helps the food vendors know that they have enough food or don't make too much food because we don't want waste, Right. Everyone's always trying to curtail as much waste as possible. So get your tickets in advance. It really helps. And we don't want our food vendors to have to either waste food or not have enough food, know, so.
Coming up on Sunday, April 13th.
Saturday, April 13th.
Saturday, April 13th at the Maui Arts and Cultural Festival from
1 o'clock till 6 o'clock. And I will note that the Keiki Festival is going on at the UHMC College campus during the morning. So if you take your kids there in the morning, we have a tent there at Imua Family Services. We'll actually give you a card. And if you bring that card into the color festival, you'll get some free color to throw around and stuff like that too. So just thought we'd make good use of the fact that we're in both places that day.
Wow, busy time.
Yeah.
Busy time. And real quickly, coming up shortly behind that, we've got Paddle Imua.
Paddle Imua is our ocean sports event from Maliko Gulch to Hawaiian Canoe Club that we do every year in the first weekend of May, and that is that one is a fundraiser for Camp Imua. And all the best and amateur ocean athletes around Hawaii and internationally come together. It's a paddle league event now, so people get points for participating in that event. It's one of the only multidisciplinary events on the water. So whether you're doing OC1, OC2, or a 6-man canoe, stand-up paddle, prone paddle, now hydrofoil, sail, it's all good at Paddle Imua. And that's part of our message of diversity, inclusion, being together on the water and having fun.
Wonderful, wonderful. And that's all leading up to Camp Imua, which comes up in June, right?
Yeah. Just knock me over now. Yes, Camp Imua is in June.
And we're out of time. Hello, boy, that's fastest half hour in radio.
Right?
Any last thoughts you want to put out there for?
No, just, I think Maui should be really excited to hear Raylan Baxter. If you don't know who Raylan Baxter and his band are, look them up on Instagram or, Facebook or Google and watch them on YouTube. We're really, really fortunate to be able to have a band of this magnitude and caliber come to the Color Festival Hawaii. So he's epic. He's got some great videos out right now. So I think people will really like his mix of country, soul, rock, and blues. It's amazing.
Is this our version of Woodstock?
Yes. Well, yeah.
It's the 20.
I think that you just dated yourself pretty seriously, but I will just say
it's
our version of Coachella.
Oh. I was going to say, people were talking about it on
Woodstock. That sounds. Woodstock. Isn't that character on Snoopy? No.
Gotcha. Oh, ouch. No, somebody was talking about it the other day, and I thought, Woodstock. I remember hearing about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this is our version of Coachella.
Okay. I got you. Thank you, Dean, for being here.
No problem.
And keep up a great work over at Imua Family Services.
Thank you for having me.
Phone number and website.
Our website is imuafamilyservices.org, and our phone number is 244-7467.
Great.
And, of course, you can find us at Imua Family on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram.
They're everywhere. Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Thanks, Dean.
Thank you.
And we're going to shift gears now, and we're going to be talking with Nancy Willis, who's the Development and Outreach Director at Maui Humane Society.
Hi,
Nancy.
Good afternoon.
How you doing?
I'm great, thank you.
You know, we were just talking with Dean and talking about all the events they have, and I think you guys outdo them as far as events are concerned.
Well, we're pretty close, I would say, yeah.
And you've sprung a couple of new things here in the last 6 months or so that I find fascinating. And of course I love animals. I love my dog. He's from there.
Right.
And all those good things. But that slumber party that you guys pulled off.
Yes.
Who raises almost $50,000 overnight?
It was crazy. I had hoped we would do well with it, but really I had no idea that we would do that well. It was amazing.
Have other shelters done this?
Well, that was what happened. Was I had actually met another executive director from a shelter in St. Louis, Missouri, and got friendly with her and was following her on Facebook and saw that they had done this slumber party. And they actually did 24 hours. So they had 13 people that stayed 24 hours in a dog kennel. That felt like
a long time.
That felt like a little much. So we modified it, and we made it from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., so 12 hours. And the goal that I had in my head was 30,000. 40,000 felt like a stretch, and we actually came in over $47,000.
That's
which was
incredible.
Unreal. Yeah.
And that was basically pledges that the
the
folks.
14 participants who actually spent the night, they went out and got their friends and family to pledge, and I think it was the novelty of it. It was first time certainly anybody in Hawaii has ever done anything like that, so it was really just a new idea, something fresh, and the fundraising part was awesome. We were, of course, excited about that. But I think the byproduct of it was nobody expected the emotional connection that everybody was going to have with it. The people that were there that night, people that were in the kennels, our staff, our volunteers, even the people that were following us on Facebook Live, because we were doing Facebook Live that night, felt very connected and emotional about it. It was really, no one was prepared for that.
I know. I went on a couple times, and when they said, "Okay, we'll be back in 20 minutes with an update" or something like that, I kind of set my watch and okay, I'm going back on.
Yeah.
Just to see what was going to happen next.
Right.
Because, as you say, it was a first time. Who knows?
Right.
And I mean, I got kind of fascinated by just the idea of. I think a couple of them talked about having matching pajamas with their dog.
Yeah.
And then decorating their kennels.
So many, we wanted to make it fun. When we approached people about participating, it was a little bit of a hard sell to say, "Hey, come sleep in a dog kennel," for 12.
It's like being in the doghouse
for 12 hours, and hey, would you raise some money to do that? For the privilege. So it was a little bit of a hard sell, but we had these 14 awesome folks. Our CEO, Jerlene, did it. A couple other staff members, some volunteers, some just supporters of ours, a couple board members. So we had a really nice, well-rounded group, and we wanted them to make it fun for themselves. So we gave some ideas and suggestions. We said, matching pajamas and come and decorate your kennels and, do some games. And we just left it at that. And whatever people came with, they came with. And we just could not believe how involved and invested people were in it. It was amazing. I mean, people decorated their kennels. Well, Jerlene, she was kennel number 1, of course. She had she made it sort of a homey feeling, had a couch in there. She had a little fireplace in there. She had curtains on the front of her kennel. We had everything. It was just unreal what people did. And I think it just added to the allure and the mystique of the night and the feeling of the night of it being so cozy and everybody wanting to make it special for those 14 dogs. Because really they went in the kennel and they had their bed set up and they just sort of snuggled in, and we didn't know how the dogs were going to do with it. I mean, the whole thing was an unknown. When the people came in and those dogs snuggled in with them, that was it. They were in for the night, and it was so much fun.
Were they able to select which dogs they wanted to sleep with, or did you have them kind of pre-selected?
We asked them for their top 3. We sent out a list of the eligible dogs, if
Okay.
you will. Gave them a description, weight and age, and if there was anything sort of special about them, and said, give us your top 3, or if you have no preference, and then we'll try to do some matchmaking. And so we did that. Our fabulous animal care technician, Rachel, who actually participated in the sleepover, she did some matchmaking, and everybody, did great with their preference, or who they got, and it was awesome. And it was funny because I just yesterday was checking. I wanted to see of those 14 dogs, how many have been adopted and what's been happening with them, and 13 of the 14 have been adopted.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
The thing that was fascinating to me was you didn't hear much barking.
No.
It was like the dogs were kind of in awe of what's happening.
We see that phenomenon when people foster and take a dog home. I mean, I've fostered a lot of dogs, and they come home and they settle in once they kind of settle down, and they fall into the deepest sleep because it's probably the best sleep they've had in so long. And I think it was the same feeling. They were very comforted having people there.
Right.
They were cozy, they were warm, they were in a bed, and it was that same feeling of like, I'm safe.
It's
So.
that human touch.
Yeah. And it was really great afterwards, on our Facebook page. I posted a few of the comments that people had written about their experience and what it felt like to be in a kennel all night, and hearing the traffic noise and hearing all the sounds, and really what are those dogs experiencing, and they can't verbalize it. And it was amazing to hear some of our participants verbalize what that feeling was.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We're going to take another short
Sure.
break, and we'll be right back with the Maui Humane Society.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in Central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And we are back. This is Maui Nonprofit Notes, your weekly radio show where we talk story with our nonprofit executive directors and staff to find out what's happening in their world. And this afternoon, during the second half of the show, we're talking with Nancy Willis, who's the Development and Outreach Director at the Maui Humane Society. I get the Friday email
Right.
from you guys, and I go through that and I go, my God, don't they ever rest?
I know.
It's like one thing after another. I think now you just had a mash. Was that for cats?
We had a cat mash the last 2 days, and we spayed and neutered 403 animals in
my
that 2
gosh.
days. So the majority of them were cats, of course, and then we got a few shelter dogs in there at the end. But in 2 days. We had a one-day record on Monday. We did 234 cats.
Now, are these domesticated cats or
They're
some of
both.
them
Yeah,
feral?
they're community cats, unowned cats that people are trapping and bringing in, as well as people's personal cats.
Gotcha.
Yep, and it's all for free. They get a microchip, they get a vaccine, and most importantly, they are helping to control the overpopulation
Right.
problem.
And you've got several sources of funding to do these different mash.
We do, yeah. We had just announced a grant that we received to help with continuing our low-cost spay and neuter. And, of course, the MASH clinic was sponsored by the Dave and Cheryl Duffield Foundation. So these great organizations step up, and they help us tremendously with these initiatives.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
You got good old Freddie still around.
We do.
How long does a turtle like that last?
He's going to outlive all of us, I can tell you. He's this is 16th birthday is coming up on April 20th. We celebrate it the Saturday before Easter, and we have a big birthday party for him. We invite everybody to come into the shelter. We do Easter egg hunts.
Freddie's huge.
He is big. Yeah, he is big. He will be out roaming around so people can say hi to him. He has his own little special birthday cake that we make out of fruit, and kids love it. The families love it. It's a great community event. I think it helps get people into the shelter that maybe haven't been in there in a long time or maybe have never been in there. We've done so much there, so many renovations and amazing things that we'd love to have people come in and see what's happening at the shelter.
Right. Well, I know, again, the videos that were playing from the sleepover, I took one look and I go, I got to go back over there. I haven't seen some of this stuff.
It's amazing. Yeah, the transformation there is unreal. I mean, we've got actually, grassy play yards where volunteers can take dogs out. We had a couple years ago, our dog kennels were renovated. We just renovated the cat ohana. I just heard that Critter Corner is in the works. It's an old facility, an old building, but we take a lot of pride in it, and we really keep up with it and want it to. We want our community to be proud of it.
Right.
So.
And so they should be.
Yeah.
It's just incredible what happens over there, and I think as you drive by, you see the main thing that I see when I go drive by is the agility field.
Yep.
And I understand you've got classes
lined
up.
We have a whole new set of classes starting. We still have a little bit of availability, a few spots left if anyone's interested. We do those, I think it's Wednesday and Thursday, the late afternoon. And we have an open practice on Saturday morning for anybody that has taken agility classes with us. And we'll take a break through the summer just because it's too hot for the people and the pets to be out there. But it's been great. All of the folks that are doing the instructing are volunteering their time, and all of the fees go to the shelter as 100% donation.
Wow, that's great.
Yep.
I just noticed here the basic agility for beginners starts April 18th, and for intermediate starts April 16th.
Yep.
Now, does a dog have to be a certain size to be able to do this?
Little
ones,
I don't think
isn't it hard for little ones
I
to
think
do
the
it?
little ones can do it. Yeah, I don't think it has to be a certain
Really?
size. No. I think when they get there, they, I've known some people have done it and they've just said, yeah, that's not for my dog. They just maybe have short attention span or, are not interested. So I probably just the best thing to do is to try it out and, see how it goes and do it a couple of times.
Right.
But yeah, it's fun. And I know people love it. I mean, there is a dedicated group here on the island that love agility. So we're happy to be able to offer that.
Well, and some places there's competition.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Are we going to get to that point someday?
I don't know. We've had some fun competitions where they've just competed for ribbons and that kind of thing. But I don't know that we have really a place to do that here. I don't know if it takes some kind of a special field, that kind of thing.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah. Ours is really just for fun. I mean, that was the genesis of it, was a donor actually felt like there wasn't enough to do with your dog here on Maui, and so she offered to build that, and that was really the start of it. And so it's another fun way to be able to spend time with your dog.
Dog lovers are unbelievable people, aren't they?
Yes.
There's
absolutely.
nothing they won't do for their dog, and if they see a need, they're ready to jump in and take care of it.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. Wonderful. We talked about Freddie the tortoise 16th birthday, which is on April 20th.
Yep.
Party runs from 11 to 1, and then we've got an Easter egg hunt.
The Easter egg hunt will start at 11 a.m. That's for kids 5 and under. And then immediately thereafter, we'll replant the eggs, and we'll go 6 and over. And everybody gets candy. I mean, we've got a lot of eggs, but everybody gets candy if you find eggs or not. So it'll be a fun event.
I think I like the way you do it. The eggs are empty.
Correct.
So many places they put candy in the eggs, and it's like, okay, everybody runs out and grabs all they can. But you kind of can allow for spreading the candy out a little bit.
Well, and the first year I learned my lesson, I ended up putting candy in, 1,600 Easter eggs. And then what we realized is all the kids wanted to take the Easter eggs home. So then we'd be buying Easter eggs every year.
Gotcha.
So we got smart the second year, and we said, there's a better way to do it. Let's leave them empty, and then we have candy stations, and they come turn their eggs in, and then they get to take a big handful of candy.
Interesting.
So sometimes the little ones don't get any, and, so then they can still come grab
Right.
candy, and everybody's happy. We have no crying children and no upset parents.
That's how that kind of moved forward, huh?
You always learn something at every
Exa-
event.
Yeah. I know in our neighborhood, we have the Saturday Easter egg
Mm-hmm.
hunt. And I used to stuff candy in the plastic eggs. And it was okay. 4 nights that week, you're watching TV, stuff them. And you go, but you know what I found out? I ended up eating.
Yeah.
Enough that I'm going, oh my gosh, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And so this makes a lot more sense. And the same thing's true. Everything disappears.
Right. And then the other thing is because we have it on the agility field, we couldn't have any candy out there because dogs are out there and it would
Sure.
be distracting, and so we had to be very careful about that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Good move. Hey, and they learned it the first year. That's great.
That's it.
That's even better.
After I was stuffing 1,600 eggs, I was a real quick student on that one.
Gotcha. So that's all the same day.
That's all the
with
same day.
Freddie's birthday party.
Yep, all happens the same day.
Cool.
Yeah.
But and you're talking about kids 5 and under, so any age, and then ages 6 and above
Right,
for the second round.
right.
About how many children do you expect for something like that?
Well, we were trying to track people with a clicker coming in the shelter. It's hard because there's so many, but we were at about 400 people.
Wow.
So that's adults and kids last year. So a
Good
lot.
thing you have the agility
A
field.
lot of people in that shelter, as you can imagine. Yeah, and we have birthday cake for everybody to celebrate Freddie.
Wow.
We sing him happy birthday, and it's a very fun day.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So now, does that immediately increase adoptions, or do they take the time to walk around through the kennels and see
People
what's going
do
on?
walk around. I mean, it's pretty chaotic. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
so they
a
probably
lot.
come back the next week or so.
I
and-
think so. I think it's just more to show people, we're always sort of combating that stigma of the shelter being a sad place. And we want people to come there and see that it's not,
Right.
that it's actually a really happy place. And when animals get to us, quite often they're at the end of their options, and we want to give them their options back. So they've got people there that are caring for them. They're getting food, shelter, the medical attention they need. They've got people advocating to get them adopted or transferred out on Wings of Aloha, whatever it is. So we really choose to view it through the lens of it's a very happy place, and we want to show that to people.
Cool. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
And is it my imagination, or am I seeing more older dogs coming into the shelter?
Well,
Or-
yeah, that does happen.
Yeah. I mean, it
Yeah.
used to be there's lots of puppies and 1 or 2 year olds, but I'm seeing.
I would say that's probably true.
Yeah.
In my last few years that I've been here, we don't see a lot of puppies. We do get them in, but not a lot. I think that housing is such a problem on this island, and that seems to be a big reason that people have to turn in their animals. A lot of folks don't want to do it, and we
Right.
try to not be judgmental. Everybody, you don't know what somebody's circumstances are.
Right.
But I think housing is a big, big issue and a big reason why animals end up there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, like, somebody has to move.
Right.
A new house, they don't allow animals.
I mean, you see that all the time, no pets. So we've actually just started a new program for our shelter dogs. It's the CGC training. It's the Good Canine Citizenship training, where our volunteers are going out and working with dogs on these 10 tests where they can then get certified for being a good citizen. And that hopefully will help if somebody is looking for housing, that they can say, hey, my dog has been certified in these 10 things that shows that, they'll be a good citizen to live in your apartment
Right.
or home or what have you.
They're not-
So to help make dogs more adoptable.
Yeah, they're not
Yeah.
wild and crazy.
Right.
They aren't going to tear
right.
up. Or,
Right. They heal, they sit, they know all of those things. So,
Interesting.
yeah, so that's a very new program. Just one more of our enrichment programs. We feel like if the animals have to be with us and we try to minimize the amount of time they're with us, we try to get them adopted or sent out on transfer, we want them to feel enriched. And so we have that program. We have our doggy play group program that we do 5 days a week where dogs get to go out and play with other dogs. And it's a very structured program in terms of how that works. It's not just throwing dogs into a pen and hoping it all works out. I mean, it's really, deciding how dogs interact with each other. So you have the gentle and dainty group, you have the rough and rowdy group. Because as much as it's great for volunteers to come walk dogs, and it's awesome for them to get out and go for a walk, dogs need to be with other dogs to learn how to be dogs.
Yeah.
A lot of dogs are under-socialized. They need to learn how to be a dog. So that's an enrichment program that we are able to offer our dogs in the shelter. And it's amazing, after doggy play groups at 3 o'clock, because it runs from 1:30 to 3, the kennels are just quiet. Everybody's calm. So they show better when people come in because they're nice and
Interesting.
relaxed.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, my dog tolerates other dogs.
Yeah.
I think that's the best word for
Mine
it.
too. Mm-hmm.
When we're out walking and somebody else comes along with a dog, they kind of look at each other and, okay, and then they get a little closer, and then he'll sniff around, which is the normal thing for a dog. And once he's checked him out, okay, he's ready to go on. I often wonder, I've got a friend who has a dog, and they bring their dog over with them when they come to visit, and they'll play around a little bit. Half an hour later, it's kind of everybody to your corner.
Yeah.
But he's that way with kids too. I mean, or company. He meets them, greets them, and then he's ready to go take a nap.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
But
how
then
my
he
dog
is 18 years old.
Yeah. I think they're like people. They just kind of get set in their ways.
Yeah. I think you're
my
right.
girl is 15, and she's just kind of the same way. She's mildly interested and then doesn't care.
Yeah,
you
that's
know.
Lulu.
Lulu, yeah.
Yeah, Lulu.
And that's what's allowed me to actually be able to foster, because, we are always in need of fosters, is that she'll be interested for a minute and then she could care less, so I'm able to bring foster dogs in.
Cool. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
Nancy, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Last thoughts and a phone number and a website.
Our website is mauihumanesociety.org, and our phone number is 877-3680. We are doing a lot out. Oh, and we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We are doing a lot of stuff, so just check us out. And if you haven't been to the shelter, I would encourage you to come for an event. Just come pop in. We're open 7 days a week, 11 to 6. We are working incredibly hard to make it a place that everyone can be proud of and make it the best we can for the animals that we care for.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here, and congratulations to Jerlene doing a wonderful job over there.
Thank
How
you.
long has she been there now? 4 years?
She's been a CEO 4 years.
4 years.
But I think she's been there 6.
Right,
She was
yeah.
in my job before.
Yeah,
Yep.
right.
Yeah.
So she knows what you're going through.
That's it.
There you go.
That's it.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thanks.
Maui Nonprofit Notes is sponsored as a community service by Pacific Source, the builder's choice. Please give them a call at 986-0380 or stop by their showroom in the Waikapu Bayshard on East Oahe Way to see how they can help you with your building project. Pacific Source has been our sponsor from day one. We thank them for their ongoing support. And to you, the listeners, we thank you for the response our agencies get from you regarding the activities talked about on this program. Today we visited with Imua Family Services and the Maui Humane Society and got an update on what their agencies are doing. If you heard anything that makes you want to get involved with one of these agencies, please give them a call or check their websites and tell them, I want to volunteer. We want to thank you for tuning in, and don't forget to join us again next week right here, same time, same place, when we'll feature 2 more representatives of the Maui Nonprofit Directors Association. Until then, I just got the... Is that 30 seconds? 30 seconds. Okay. And I just wasted about 4 of them. Until then, I'm Susie Tiemann, Executive Director of Lokahi Pacific, and your host for Maui Nonprofit Notes. Thanks again for joining us today. Have a great week, everyone. Aloha.